Peace and blessings, world, and welcome to another edition of Fresh Perspective, where we give you a fresh view on this week's hot topics. And actually, today we got the Fresh P crew -2. It's me and the GOAT, the great orator and tactician. I am your host, Irvin Hawkins. And let's go ahead and meet the GOAT. How you feeling today, brother?
Hey man, today made history. 25 years ago, the Georgia Dome was open, and today it was closed. But tonight, the Falcons gonna take care of business and get this victory against the Seahawks. Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So, since we talked about these Falcons and these Seahawks, let's go ahead and go to the Shield. And first, I'd like to talk about my guy, Tyrod Taylor. I say he's my guy because he was drafted by my team, the Baltimore Ravens. He got his opportunity out in Buffalo. And yeah, he got benched last week. So I'd like to hand this over to the GOAT, to Mr. DB. Let's talk about Tyrod Taylor. How you feel about that whole situation?
Well, for those who are not familiar with the Buffalo Bills and what they've been able to do over the past few years, haven't been much. Tyrod Taylor joined that team and made them what they pretty much are, a mediocre team. But with him at the helm, he's 19 and 18 as a starter, so he's not a loser, but he's not much of a winner either. But I think that's a
Okay.
testament to the entire team, just not his play. He has not had a true number one receiver since he's been there. Yes, they drafted Sammy Watkins. Yes, they drafted Robert Woods, but neither one of those players produced in the offense with Tyrod Taylor. And I think he just got done very, very badly. They've been jerking him around the last couple of years with his contract. They leave him in. He plays good enough to earn money, but then they kind of just sugarcoat him and shake him around because they just not totally convinced he's the quarterback of their future.
Okay. So he was benched for this rookie quarterback, and the man proceeds to throw 5 picks in the first half. Now, Tyrod is 3 picks all year.
Yeah.
But was you laughing or did you feel bad?
Oh no, I didn't feel bad at all. Well, I felt bad because my cousin Mike Tolbert, all pro fullback Mike Tolbert plays for Buffalo, and he had to go through that. So I felt bad from that aspect of it. But as far as it going down, oh no, no, not at all. I did not feel bad at all. It kind of went. It couldn't go no better for Tyrod Taylor. It couldn't. He couldn't write that any better. 5 picks, man, please.
And so he finds himself back in the game. So you think he's firmly seated?
And when he found himself back in the game, he went 15 for 25, one TD, one rushing TD, and 158 yards passing. So,
Mhm.
relatively speaking, if he would have played at the beginning of the game, who knows how the game would have went?
That's very true. That's a good possibility. That's a very, very good possibility. Okay, good point. Good point. Now, my next thing, I know it's football related, but it's not necessarily the Shield. I got to talk about Baker Mayfield, one of the top quarterbacks, if not the top quarterback in the nation. He will be a top pick. How do you feel about what happened between him and Kansas last week?
Well, I got to speak on two things. One, just to finish up the Tyrod Taylor conversation, the Buffalo Bills organization ought to be ashamed of themselves. They owe apology to the fans. They owe apology to Tyrod Taylor and the players of the organization, and they also um, owe an apology to the game of football. You cannot take a quarterback who's out there playing efficient, completing 64% of his passes, 10 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, and you're right there in the seventh wild card spot in the NFL against a Chargers team that you should be able to beat and stay in that spot, and you bench him to put in a guy who haven't played a down. That makes no sense to me. And the Buffalo Bills, you got some explaining to do. Now, Coach McDermott today had all excuses, said he liked what he saw. He said he liked what he saw. So we already know what this is. This got to be some type of conspiracy. And all I want the people to do is the same people who was rising up and yelling for Colin Kaepernick. It's time to stand up for Tyrod Taylor as well.
Wow. Okay. And you know what? That's an awesome point, man. Before we go to Baker Mayfield, I want you to go a little deeper on that. So, a couple people out there in the sports world have said that, black quarterbacks have shorter leashes when it comes to performance. Do you feel that same way?
I agree with that statement 100%. When you're a white quarterback, which is basically what's mainly in the NFL, you have to prove that you cannot play the position. you get a chance to actually go out there and throw 5 interceptions. Tyrod Taylor, he get pulled for having 3 in a whole season.
Mm.
That says all you need to know right there.
Okay. 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 Good point, man. I can't argue with you at all. So on the Baker Mayfield, man, how do you feel? Was that just passion that he was showing, or
Well, uh,
was he incorrect?
he was very incorrect. For those who don't know what was going on, Baker Mayfield was a captain of the Kansas Jayhawk first Oklahoma Sooner football game this Sunday. He went to shake the captain's hand, and Kansas refused to shake his hand. Now, Baker Mayfield went on to put it on them. I mean, he made play after play that game, but at the end of the day, he was supposed to expect himself to play like that against Kansas. Last time I checked, the Jayhawks are a basketball school, one of the top schools in the country. Football, they just have I don't even know why people go to Kansas to play football. They've never been good ever. But with that being said, Baker Mayfield, you cannot go out there and 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 make the gestures that you made toward the stands and toward the fans. You was on a nationally televised game. Everybody saw that. You can't do those type of things. You have to rise above it and let your play do the talking.
Okay, and world, you are listening to Fresh Perspective. It's the Fresh P Crew -2. Now, does this hurt him in the Heisman running, or do you think he's still one of the top guys that's looking at that Heisman Trophy? Does this
Well,
hurt?
me personally, this year, I think the Heisman is wide open. There's no clear cut front runner. So many teams that uh, right now in the next 3 4 weeks decide their own destiny, and those players who are up for that award have an opportunity to win that award. Penn State's going to have an opportunity. Oklahoma's going to have an opportunity. JT Bear's going to have an opportunity. Uh, a lot of players are going to get their shot at proving that they're the best player in the country. Right now, Baker Mayfield should be the guy because he's going to have the best opportunity to do that because he's going to have the ball every single play, and the way they win is going to be based on how he performs. So I don't think it's going to hurt his Heisman per se because it didn't boost him by killing Kansas. So it should hurt him by doing what he did, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And since we're talking about awards and we talking about the best of the best, we got a couple of 8-2 teams in the league. One of them being your boy Drew Brees. But before we get to Drew Brees, man, is Philly for real? Is
Well,
Carson Wentz for real?
I looked at the Philly game last night, and I can't say that they're for real based off them beating on the Dallas Cowboys because the Falcons just did that last week, and I'm not going to base that off of them. But what I will say, Philly is doing a lot of good things. Their defense is playing lights out and phenomenal. They're playing fast. They're playing physical. Malcolm Jenkins got their secondary. He's back there putting everybody in the right spots and being that great defensive talent that he's always been for his entire career. Carson Wentz is doing a good job of making the football plays when it's time for him to make a play. He's still not shredding you from the pocket by just completing every pass, but when it's third down or if it's a time he needs to break a tackle, he always does it. And then they also adding Ajayi and getting Clemente going and Blunt going. They got their running attack. They know how they want to do it. So the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the teams that have formed their identity before a lot of teams, and right now they stick to the script and they play the way they're supposed to play.
Okay, so out of the 8-2 teams, are the top tier teams, the Saints, the Patriots, the Steelers, is Philly the cream of the crop, or they got some coming up to do?
Well, I like Philly. Philly's playing at a high level. Philly is doing it the right way, but the you have to look at the team that's right behind them and the Saints, and you have to look at Pittsburgh, and you have to look at the New England Patriots, and you have to respect them as well because they have 3 Super Bowl MVP quarterbacks. They have they have they have the guys at the position. So even though Philly is playing this miraculous style of ball, if they match up against either one of those teams, two of those teams, of course, they will only meet them if it's in the Super Bowl. But you have to take it to the accountability that going into that game, they have the worst quarterback in the game. Though he's playing at a high level, he's the most inexperienced quarterback in that situation. So continue to going forward. I think Carson Wentz is just doing a good job with the personnel upgrades, and the play calling and everything is just going right for them. They've even overcome some huge losses on the offensive side of the football, and they're just playing great football right now. And they owning the division. The division is weak right now, and they're taking care of it. That's what you got to do. The Giants are not a good football team right now. The Cowboys are not a good football team right now. The Redskins are not a good football team right now. You can't let them win. You have to beat them. The
Good
Patriots do
point.
it every year. The Patriots do it every year.
Good point. Good point. And your boy Drew Brees, man, just pulled something memorable out his hat. You know, when they talk about Drew Brees, the legend that is, they're gonna bring up this game that just happened this past weekend. Talk to me about it. At 2 minutes left, did you think that they were done?
Well, make no mistake about it. I got to tell you the story. Yes, I got my Falcon gear on, but people make this clear. I am a Drew Brees fan. All right. I don't want to hear nothing. If you don't like it, tough. Drew Brees is my guy. I call him the number nine. But what you have to understand is me and my dad walked in from my daughter's cheer competition, and I turned the game on, and I said, "What is going on? Number nine, I'm here. You got to do something." And my dad said, "Drew Brees finna walk them down." I said, "Dad, it's 6 minutes to go." He said, "He finna walk them down." And Drew Brees went right down there and had one of the best fourth quarters you're going to ever see from the quarterback position, 11 for 11, 158.3 passer rating out of 158.3 passer rating. Drew Brees went out there and got it done. That was nothing short of amazing. But you can't knock the fact that Tom Brady was even more amazing. This guy just lit the Oakland Raiders up on Sunday. It's amazing that those two guys at their age are still playing that position at a high level. I still have not seen a decline from either one of those players.
Yeah, they are definitely playing at a higher level. And you know, earlier in one of our earlier episodes, we talked about the Saints' running game and how they Sean Payton mishandled Adrian Peterson, but your boy Mark Ingram looked like a grown man in this game. How do you feel about the Saints running game right now?
Well, again, I'm going to reiterate it. Football players, it doesn't get harped on enough, but they are rhythm players as well. Offensive linemen have to get in the rhythm. Wide receivers have to get in the rhythm. Running backs, quarterbacks, DBs, linebackers, safeties, everybody have to get in their rhythm in order to play the game at the way that they're the most comfortable. And for Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, the type of plays that Sean Payton is able to call now and game plan now, because he's only worried about focusing on those two individual backs, has worked wonders for the confidence of both players and their biorhythms. It's just amazing. Mark Ingram has always been a tough runner. Even when he came out of Alabama, he's not amazingly fast. His vision is not top of the charts. His power is not at top of the charts. But this guy's a workhorse, and this guy's willing to get it done. He can get the tough yards. He does a great job of pressing holes, getting skinny when it's time, and he's nothing short of amazing when it comes to just running hard. Mark Ingram runs the ball hard. And Alvin Kamara, goodness gracious, shout out to the Saints organization for seeing a guy who didn't even get a lot of touches at Tennessee, and y'all drafted him to do one thing. And when y'all saw that on film, y'all said, "I got to have him," and you went out there and got him, and he's paying big dividends for you. Shout out to you guys for drafting a player that you think you needed, and you got it right.
Yeah, it always makes a difference when you draft that correct player and it turns out right. It's
Oh, it's
got
beautiful. Oh, it's
got
beautiful.
the system. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know who's going to get Ricky if it's not Alvin Kamara on offense. Deshaun Watson is gone. It got to be him.
Yeah. So we at that point now where the playoff picture is starting to take shape.
Mhm.
I see a lot of mediocre out there, but who you think gets in? Who are those fringe teams
It's
that
still
you want
early.
to think get in?
It's still early, man. We got about another 2 weeks for the dust really settle. Because you got a lot of teams that's finna go head to head, a lot of division games finna come about, and we're gonna find out who's who. So the Falcons got a tough road ahead of them. We still got to play Carolina. We still got to play the Saints twice. Still got to play Tampa twice. We need to go 4-1 in that stretch if we want a real
And
shot.
we got
I
to
take
talk about your Falcons too. I can't let them brothers off the hook, man. the beginning of the season, off season, everything, they looked like they was really about to defend their NFC
Mhm,
conference championships title and
mhm.
go back to the Super Bowl and take care of some business. What is going on?
Well, I don't know why people believe that the Falcons was just gonna go back out like we did last year and go 13-3 or 12-4 and just be world beaters. Everybody knows it's harder to get back when you went the first time. That's why you got to take care of business when you go the first time. The Falcons, I predicted a 9-7, 10-6 season to begin with anyway. We fight our way back to get to the playoffs. And when we get in the playoffs, we prove then that we're worthy to go back to the Super Bowl. I'm not worried about being a world beater in the regular season. Tonight, you got the Seahawks. Tonight, no Sherman, no Cam Chancellor. Should be a good night for us. It's just that
It
we
should be
should go out
easy
there,
money.
contain Russell Wilson, and beat the Seahawks like we just did when we seen them in the playoffs last year. Take care of business. It's not that hard to do.
It should be easy money. But I think the reason why everybody thought that you guys were going to be world beaters and go back is because you guys were so young. You guys are so fast. You had
Right.
one of the top young head coaches in the game. It's like you have all of the ingredients. You had an MVP quarterback, all of the ingredients to get back. You got the best wide receiver in the game. A lot of ingredients.
Well, that's still up for debate as far as Julio being the best wide receiver in the game. Because I don't know if you've been paying attention to a guy by the name of Antonio Brown this season, but he is clearly on a whole nother level than even the great AJ Green and Julio Jones are right now. AB is on one this season. But make no mistake about it, I am one to believe that when you're trying to get back to the Super Bowl, especially when you're in a division with the the caliber of quarterbacks that we have in our division, it was not going to be an easy role for us. Think about any division in football, and you go from top to bottom. Jameis Winston being our worst quarterback. What division have quarterbacks like we have? Not one. You got number 9. You got Cam Newton. You got Matt Ryan. You got Jameis Winston. No game is promised to us. Then we had to go this year to the NFC East. We had to play the Cowboys. We got to play the Giants. We had to play Philly, and we got to play the Redskins. Those have quality quarterbacks and quality teams as well at the beginning of the season. Now, the Giants, they got hit with real early. So we should, when we see them, it should be a mob session. But at the end of the day, getting back to the Super Bowl was never going to be an easy task. So I didn't expect the Falcons to come out and be world beaters because we didn't beat the world. We lost in the championship, so we're not world beaters. The world beater are the Patriots, and that's why they're 8-2 right now.
Awesome. Very, very, very strong point. Now, world, we coming up to the end of our show talking about the NFL. It's the Fresh Pre Crew -2. So now we coming into our final perspective. Goat, give it to me. What's your final perspective on this week so far in the NFL?
Falcons, this season marks a new beginning. Your old home is gone, and now you got to build new memories in the new Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Start tonight and get the win against the Seahawks. Get it done. Rise up and let's do it.
All right.
Oh, and one more thing, Hawk.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Jerry Jones, stop playing the games because you might not win another game if you keep going at it the way you're going at it. And the Buffalo Bills organization, y'all got some explaining to do because Tyrod Taylor does not deserve this kind of treatment playing the position at the level that he's been playing at since he's been in Buffalo. 47 touchdowns to 13. I'm sorry, 47 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. That's a 4-to-1 ratio. It's not a lot of quarterbacks that can do that for you. Add some pieces and see can he really take you over the top.
All right, y'all. Y'all just heard from the great orator and tactician. That's his fresh perspective for the week. We'll have to end it off like this. Peace and blessings, world. See y'all next time.